Welcome to everybody. Welcome to everybody who is here in Palamo, Catalonia. Welcome to everybody that is following us by internet. I received last 10 minutes. I don't know how many WhatsApps, mails, Viber, SMS from colleagues from different countries saying, we are waiting, please, can you start? We want to watch to attend the conference, not only to see you there. So, we are going to start this afternoon. First of all, I would like to introduce the director of our Ministry of Education here in Girona, Mr. Albert Bayot. He is going to address you the short speech talking about our meeting, our Erasmus project, and to welcome you. Okay?
Muy buena tarde, muy buena tarde a todos. Saludos a todo el mundo. Welcome. Voy a hacer mi exposición en castellano, por deferencia también a los compañeros que nos han venido a acompañar en estas jornadas desde la Agencia Nacional Española Erasmus Plus, Educación y Formación. Y mientras yo vaya hablando, pues haremos las pausas para que nos hagan una traducción bien hecha en inglés y todo el mundo pueda comprender lo que os intentaré transmitir. Entonces, en primer lugar, saludar efusivamente pues, a todas las personas que hoy nos acompañáis, de manera especial a los ponentes que nos ilustraréis, luego también al profesorado de este instituto y de otros centros que tenemos hoy aquí, técnicos del Departamento de Enseñamiento de la Generalitat de Cataluña, tanto los territoriales de Girona como los que están en los servicios centrales, también las personas que representan la Universidad de Girona, nuestra universidad, que pues, también acompañan este proceso, y de manera muy especial pues, a alumnos y profesores que venís de Rumanía, de Portugal, de Chipre y de Italia.
Well, I'm going to translate Mr. Bayot's speech. He just wants to start giving a welcome to everybody, especially the authorities coming from the different organizations from the Catalan government in Girona or in the territorial areas, and then the people giving the speeches, the technicians from the Spanish National Agency, Erasmus, and the people from the Universidad de Girona. And then he wants to give a special welcome to all the teachers and students coming from Romania, Portugal, Cyprus, and Italy.
El proyecto que hoy trabajáis en esta tercera reunión es un proyecto que tiene mucha importancia, pero yo creo que además tiene una importancia añadida. Tiene importancia porque para nosotros pues, los proyectos de intercambio internacionales son la base no solo de la enseñanza, sino también de mucha innovación en el campo de la enseñanza. Pero además este es el único Erasmus Plus que tenemos en Cataluña coordinado por un centro de secundaria de nuestra tierra. Y además uno de los tres de España, por lo tanto pues ya veis que incluso pues, su importancia aquí queda mucho más remarcada.
Well, he's saying that it's very important to have this kind of projects, and we have to bear in mind that this is a project coordinated by this school. There are only 3 projects in Spain, so it's the only one in Catalonia, and that's something very important, which lets us do some research and exchange ideas and points of view.
Yo que ahora estoy aquí como representante del Departamento de Enseñamiento de la Generalitat de Cataluña, no deja de ser este trabajo que desempeñó circunstancial, porque de hecho yo soy profesor de secundaria y por lo tanto el tema que hoy se debate pues no es un tema que me resulte alieno, ¿no? Más bien es uno de los temas que me ha preocupado recientemente, pues también como docente. El tema de las nuevas tecnologías, desde mi punto de vista, tiene un problema, que es un tema muy importante hoy en día en la docencia, yo diría en la vida en general, pero en la docencia, y en cambio, con demasiada frecuencia, lo hemos tratado solo en relación a lo que se refiere a máquinas y a programario. Es decir, hemos hecho los debates excesivamente mundanos, excesivamente basados pues, en el recurso. Y yo quería aprovechar, pues hoy que estaba con vosotros, para introducir 5 reflexiones que van un poco más allá.
The idea of the new technologies in the classroom is something very important because very often we usually focus our attention on the machine and the programs that we have to work with, and maybe we don't focus on the human point of view. So he's going to concentrate on 5 points he wants you to pay attention.
Primera reflexión que comparto, tampoco quiero decir que lo que yo he pensado pues tenga que ser, es para compartirlo y para que pues, cada uno se lo lleve donde crea que debe llevárselo. Primera, la presencia hoy en día de las tecnologías digitales en la vida cotidiana de las personas y de los niños y los adolescentes, los jóvenes estudiantes, realmente ha modificado mucho pues, aspectos de la vida cotidiana. Es lógico, o sea, cualquier cambio que ha generado pues, la tecnología digital se ha trasladado enseguida al día a día. Pero yo pongo encima de la mesa, estamos dando importancia también a la posibilidad que también esté modificando procesos básicos cognitivos de la persona. ¿Se razona igual? ¿Se memoriza igual? Yo creo que no. Y creo que esto es importante cuando trasladamos el debate profundo de la educación al tema.
So this is the first one. He wants to make clear that it's his opinion, and you may or may not agree, but that's the opinion he has. So he's saying that the presence of digital technologies in our everyday life and the everyday life of our teenagers and young people is changing the way they live. That's very obvious. But then he's asking himself the question that maybe this is changing as well. The cognitive processes, that it's changing the way they think, the way they memorize, and the way they study. So that's something that we have to apply to the teaching point of view.
Segunda reflexión que comparto. Uno de los elementos pues, más notables, ¿no?, de la introducción de las nuevas tecnologías en el mundo de la enseñanza es la facilidad que nos ha proporcionado a docentes y asistentes para el acceso a gran cantidad de información de manera rápida y de manera amplia. Pero los que somos profesores sabemos que más información no significa más conocimiento. Incluso a veces me atrevo a decir que más información puede comportar caos. Por lo tanto, segunda reflexión, la selección adecuada de los conocimientos debe pasar también por un aprendizaje de la selección adecuada de las informaciones y por lo tanto debe preparar al alumno para un papel también proactivo. A veces, a menudo, se oye decir es que con las nuevas tecnologías el alumno a veces es un espectador. No es un espectador. Tiene que ser incluso más actor que no pues con el procedimiento más tradicional de enseñanza.
The second reflection that he's making is that the easy access that we have to all the information doesn't mean more knowledge. In fact, he's just pointing the opposite thing, that sometimes more knowledge means more chaos because you don't know what you have to choose. he's saying that having that much information and maybe the not correct information might give you to the wrong idea. So the students, we have to teach students how to choose, how to select the information, and the students don't have to be passive, which some people may think that nowadays students have to be passive. They have to be even more active. They have to know how and when to find this information.
Tercera reflexión, muy rápida, muy fácil. Un uso adecuado de las nuevas tecnologías de la información y del conocimiento forzosamente debe suponer un aumento de la capacidad del individuo de ser más autónomo, es decir, ganar autonomía, que es una gran necesidad que tenemos hoy en relación a nuestros alumnos.
The third reflection is that the adequate use of the new technologies it means that the student has to be more autonomous, and that's the most important thing, the autonomy of the student when he or she has to work.
Cuarta reflexión, pues que las nuevas tecnologías comportan peligros, ¿no? Comportan peligros y es importante educar también en relación a los peligros, pero relacionando el tema con lo que sería la transmisión de conocimientos y del aprendizaje, yo creo que uno de los peligros que debemos trabajar con nuestros alumnos es la dudosa autoridad de parte de la información que encontramos pues, en las redes, por ejemplo, ¿no? Y por lo tanto, formar con firmeza a los alumnos para el análisis y la búsqueda de la veracidad de los datos que manejamos.
The fourth reflection is about the dangers of the information that we can find on the internet. Sometimes we don't know who's written that information, and then even worse, we don't know if that information is true, if it's real, or if someone has invented. So then we have to teach our students to decide and to know when this information is real or it's not.
Y finalmente la quinta reflexión sería, ¿no? Pues es cierto que la tecnología, las nuevas tecnologías, en manos de cualquier persona, pero también en manos de nuestros alumnos y alumnas, ha supuesto un incremento notable del uso de la comunicación. Esto es un hecho importante y positivo. Teléfonos móviles, chats, en fin, mil productos que permiten pues, una comunicación rápida, directa, etc., ¿no? Pero la escuela, la institución escolar, ¿cómo vive esto? ¿Lo vive como un problema? ¿Sabe sacarle rendimiento? Yo creo que la escuela no debe dejar de lado su responsabilidad para tener cuidado de la calidad de la comunicación. El uso de la lengua, quizá lo siento porque yo soy profesor de lengua, pero creo que es básico no renunciar a la calidad de la comunicación, del mensaje escrito, del mensaje audiovisual, da igual. Y aquí también tenemos trabajo para hacer.
So finally, the last reflection is that the increase of the digital technology has meant the increase of communication between or among students. It could be either using the mobile phone or chat or whatever. So then we have to take care of the quality of this communication. And then he says that he is a language teacher, so then he cares quite a lot about the communication. But we all have to take care about this communication and see that it's the appropriate one.
Pues nada, simplemente 5 ideas para no quedarnos en las máquinas y en los programas, para ir un poco más allá, para pensar, para debatir, para tener en cuenta, para que cada uno lo use pues, como quiera, pero me parecía que una presentación, por muy institucional que fuera, pues en torno al tema que estáis trabajando, pues podía tener también cierto contenido. Adelante con la jornada y enhorabuena sincera por la gran tarea que estáis realizando.
What was the first thing? It's not in the list, this one. Okay, yes, these days we are working with machines and technologies and apps for the mobiles, but then he's saying that he's just given these 5 reflections, more human maybe, not to think about the people, not the machines, and then that he encourages us and you all to continue working, that you are doing a great job.
Pues buenas tardes y muchas gracias.
Welcome everybody. I hope you're all relaxed after a nice dinner. Today I'd like to talk to you about an initiative by Mobile World Capital Barcelona. You're all very familiar that Barcelona has become very, very popular with the mobile. And they started an initiative in 2013 in conjunction with Generalitat de Catalunya, with the Ayuntamiento de Barcelona, so the City Hall of Barcelona, and with GSMA, which is the mobile company. In conjunction, we've all created many projects, well, the project M Schools, which is a very, very important initiative, and we're very proud to talk to you about it today. Alright, so just to put you into context a little bit about the Catalan educational system here. So we've got 4,650 schools in Catalonia. That includes both private and public. So you've got the subsidized schools. So this is including all of them, 4,650. More or less 108,000 teachers, both from infant, primary, and secondary. Very similar to what Stefano mentioned today with the Italian system, actually, starting from a very young age to secondary, to 18 years of age. And that includes 1,293,000 pupils. So I'm just putting that into context a little bit for you. The strategy for digital technologies, we try to align it for the digital agenda in Europe for 2020. There's been many things that we've been doing in the past years. Those of you who work here know that we've been working on the digital competencies for many years. Digital competency for all students, and not only for students, but for all teachers. And an e-maturity plan for every school, meaning that we're not just talking about the technology aspects in the classes, the computers, the setup, the internet connection and everything, but how all of these digital competencies are going to work in the school. What are they going to be learning? Incorporating digital boards, interactive boards, having somebody coordinating, somebody responsible for that in the school. All of these are part of the e-maturity plan, making sure everything's secure. So all of these things have been a concern these last years with the Department of Education. And I'm going to talk specifically today about the M schools, where it fits into all of this. So if you just take a look at the general, what's been happening the last 30 years, so it hasn't been something that just started in 2013. So within the system, they've been using, they've been teacher training, and they've been implementing many online digital tools for many years already. Lots of you are very familiar with Edu 365, the site where many resources go for students, online resources, and X-Tech, which has lots and lots of resources for teachers. In 2009, the initiative came out, one-to-one computers. I think all around Europe, this was an initiative that in a lot of different countries as well, they tried to introduce one-to-one computers, one per student. And this has been increasingly thinking of ways to introduce the use of digital technologies in the classroom. So the latest initiative is the M Schools initiative. And I work in the TAC department, which is technologies for for knowledge, for coneixement. So PETAC for apprentissage, for learning and knowledge. Okay, so learning not just to use the actual technical part, but learning how to use these technologies for learning, which is what we need to teach our students, how to use the technologies for learning. So the M Schools initiative is something very, very interesting, and we're doing some really, really interesting projects within that. So basically the program, as it says here, it's a multifaceted M education initiative. Okay, it started with Mobile World Capital, and it's in collaboration, like I said, with the Department of Education and GSMA. And it started in 2012, and we've got different facets. And I'm going to explain the number one, first of all, which we've got 4 different projects that some of you are probably familiar with. Okay, so basically, the 3 different areas that we're working on, we've got the one, which is encouraging learning with mobile. Okay, so we all know that our students know how to use the mobile for WhatsApp and for Facebook and for checking their mails, but do they really know how to use their mobiles for learning? So that's what our interest is, learning how to use all of these devices to learn. The second one is improving digital skills and entrepreneurial spirit. So learning how to think of what's needed in society, what types of jobs are coming up. There's a lot of new jobs being created through these new technologies. So we need to teach our students to have a broader look of how to use these technologies and actually how to think of what types of things are going to be needed in the future. So having a business look of what's needed. So this is a second part that I'll be talking about. And then the third part, which is still very new and it's still in process, which is building an open environment for M education, for mobile education. So if we take a look at this first part, we have Mobile Learning Awards. Is there anybody in the audience here that have participated in doing the video, the Mobile Learning Awards? Any teachers here that have had their students participate? Yeah? Okay, this is very, very interesting. Basically, it's a contest. It's some awards that we give to schools. They had to create videos. And I'm going to show you some examples now. Very, very interesting. So a 1-minute video showing how the mobile or a device can be used for the future. What is education going to look like in the future? And if we give this to our students and we tell them to think how our schools are going to be in the future, what can you do with your mobile, what can you do with your tablet? They came up with some fantastic ideas. So we started that a couple of years ago and it's been going strong now. This is the 3rd year. Let me see if I can, I'll talk about that in a second after I just mention the other 2 things. So we've got the mobile history map, okay? So this is basically geolocalizing. So what schools are doing is looking in their communities in Catalonia, and you know that everybody's into orientation now. There are a lot of apps which help you to orientate on a map, different places, different locations. So with this app, we've got the schools and the students to actually think of specific places in their towns, important monuments, important places that they'd like to map out within their locations and share it with others around Catalonia and put video and audio and text both in Catalan, in Spanish and in English. And then the Mobile World Center, which is, if some of you have been, anybody in the audience been to the center? Plaza Catalunya? So the classes can visit this center and they can do hands-on tests, visiting around and seeing what it has to offer, walk through the mobile phone history, see how things have evolved over time. And then you've got the Mobile for Schools, which is promoting all the safety, responsible use of mobiles and technology, and that's still a work in process. So the first one I'm going to concentrate on is the Mobile Learning Awards. All right. Like I said, I'm going to take you first to some of the winners. I think if I show you a video, you'll get a better idea of what it's all about. So if you had a limit of 1 minute, being able to show what you can do, what types of things are happening in the classroom. So you've got some fantastic teachers who are showing students what they can do with all of these devices. The sound is on and off. Okay, this was the category of primary. All right, I'm going to show you. Go back here. Another link. Let's see. Let's take a look at. We'll take a look at this one. So they give. There's different categories. So for within the primary, with secondary, there's different prizes for all the different categories. Okay, so sometimes we think we can't use it in primary school. We have a tendency to think that all of these different gadgets are for secondary, but you can do a lot of things with primary. I don't know how many of you are from primary, but with QR codes, stories, they can do so many things. The programming, the scratch programming, taking pictures, there's so many apps. There's apps for languages, and there's apps for history, and there's apps for, any language. I'm a language teacher, I'm an English teacher, and I can take any app and think of an English activity and turn it into a fun activity for students. And I think it's really important that all of us teachers, we look at our subject, we think of an app, there's so many of them, so you really have to be selective as a teacher as well, know how to choose a tool or an app, and use it to your advantage. The advantage, what is it? It's inspiring children to do something, to learn, without realizing they're learning. So there's another one that I'd like to show you. Back here to where is the Norma? No? No, pero el programa ya estaba. El PowerPoint está bien usado. El PowerPoint no está.
No, no va.
El PowerPoint sí, hasta aquí. Es que no ves, está aquí. Aquí, okay. Found it. All right. This is a particular one that I wanted to show you, which is actually the first year we did the competition. It's one I like very much. It's not one of the most recent ones, but it was when Skype. Do any of you use Skype? You have, loved ones, students, I'm from Canada, so of course I've been using Skype for years with my family. And the idea that these students took with Skype is fantastic. So I'm going to show it to you before I go on to the next point. Okay, it's just nice. It's showing you that now with technologies you can really be in the same place, you know, whether it's doing something educational, whether it's talking to our loved one. I've done the same thing with my daughter actually. Wait, hold on a second. Okay, so basically the use of Skype showing how that can be used in an educational way. I really like that video, and they were one of the winners in 2013. So that's the Mobile Learning Awards. We continue on here. Okay, one of the next points, still within the first topic. Well, this is the awards. One important thing I think with all of these initiatives is making it important for students and showing them that it's important, and what they're doing is recognized and appreciated by teachers and by authorities. It's very, very important. So it's not something that you can just say, oh, really, really good, well done, pat on the back, and that's it. I mean, recognizing, putting it, sharing with the world, sharing in sessions like this where they actually receive recognition for it. It's very, very important. So here we have the Minister of Education, Irene Regal, and the students receiving an award for this initiative, for winning the Mobile Learning Awards. So the next one I wanted to talk about actually is this one here, Mobile History Map. Okay? So basically there's a lot of talk nowadays, I don't know if a lot of you have heard about geocaching, geolocalization, localizing places on a map, pinpointing something specific in an area where you live. So they came up with an idea of basically geopositioning, making an app which would help each community, each school to talk about important monuments in their city or town. So if there's a church, or if there's some type of a hermitage, or some important building, a bridge, anything that is important for them in the community. So actually pinpointing it on a map using this app and sharing the content. So basically what they have to do is pinpoint it on the map. After that they have to make an audio in the 3 languages if possible. So in Spanish, in Catalan, and in English, and make a video as well. So that's an active program. We have a lot of schools involved in that. I'll take you to the link. Okay, so basically these are some of the points that have already been geo-positioned on the maps. Let's see if I can take a look here, this area here. Give you an idea. It's opening up. That's the thing with technology, you need a little bit of patience. It's not opening up. Okay, so each one, basically they have a description. The description will be in the 3 languages. Then there'll be an audio, okay? an audio, and a video. I don't know if I've chosen one that has the 3 components. So some of them are still works in progress. So the teachers have started the project and they maybe just put the Catalan, or they put the Spanish, or they just put one or the other, and they put the actual name of the church. But the idea is to have a complete map where students and teachers can share what they've been doing together and how they've been geopositioning all of these places. And any of you teachers can get your students involved in this project. I mean, every little town, no matter how small it is, we all have something special to mention that maybe, someone in Palamo doesn't know. I'm from Taya. Maybe nobody knows about, some special of the church in Taya. So it's just putting more visible on all of the map in Catalonia, all of the points, and sharing it with others. So that's the mobile history map. I don't know. There was another one I wanted to open up in English. It doesn't seem to open up. Let me see if any of them will open up. It's trial and error. I mean, some of them are functioning, some of them aren't. But you get the idea, yeah? Okay, so continuing on. Right, the Mobile World Center. So as well, that's open in Plaza Catalunya, and you can take students on a visit. In my opinion, that's not the most important out of all of the things I'm describing. It's much more interesting getting the hands-on and getting them involved in projects which are more than one day, which can last a whole year, which can last a whole term. But this as well is important just for them to see, and take a visit and see the whole evolution of technologies. I mean, you have to realize that all of us have seen telephones from, the old dial ones. We know what they are, and some of our younger students, I mean, they've never seen any of these. They don't know what they are. And it's funny for our generation to realize that students nowadays, a telephone is this is a telephone for them. And so just taking them someplace where they actually can start realizing. When I first came to Barcelona in 1991, I had no internet. There was no internet, and my own children find it very hard to understand that I had to write letters home, and it took a month, and then they would reply. It would take another month to come back. So that whole concept, our digital natives aren't used to that. They're used to everything being quick and right there. So it's really interesting for them to see that it hasn't always been like that. Right, I forgot the other one back here. Okay, and then the mobile for schools. All right, this is something which is in progress now. Okay. And at the end of June, we'll be coming out with recommendations for teachers. Okay, where do we get the recommendations? They'll be based on a document, which is the Norma de Organización, using their language skills, communicating, using mathematical skills, inventing things. So, it's something we have to start really using in the class, not just talking about. And this class helps them to do that. And afterwards, it's fantastic because the winner developed for them professionally. So they're very, very inspired. And the whole objective isn't, in fact, at the end of the course, having the app. It's the process. So we're not, they might have just the prototype, the picture of the app, what they want the app to do, what buttons. They might have it all just drawn out physically, but they might not have the app made. That doesn't matter. Some groups work at different speeds. The good thing is that they actually have the opportunity to work in groups at their own speed and develop the idea, a prototype for an app which is solving some type of a problem or creating some type of a game. Yeah? Okay, and this is the day. This is the day that they present it at the end of the year. We invite them all. the finalists to present their app, and it was wonderful. I mean, they have everybody around coming to see what they've done, and I think they realized, that's the moment they realized, wow, you know, we really had some great ideas, and we produced some ideas that actually could be sold in the world. It's not just something in the classroom. All right, and the last one I'll go over very, very quickly. Okay? We have some new initiatives that are coming up, which is EBSCO's Toolbox. So what we're doing is creating a site for you teachers. You've all been on app sites where there's 3 stars, 4 stars, 5 stars, and you know, there's so many apps you don't know which one to download. And basically we're creating a website which will be made by teachers like myself, I'm on this project, and other teachers, for teachers. So all of these apps, maybe I find an app and I say, hey, that's a great app for English, you can use it like this. And a mathematical teacher will take a look and say, you know, that same app I can use in this way for math. So you're going to get personal opinions from teachers, different subjects, and it's going to be full of apps, and it's coming out at the end of April. We're still working on the page and making sure it's all ready. Hopefully by June, the page will be up and running, and by next year, teachers will have a great site of educational apps that are, you know, for using in the classroom for your students. And then the M Lab, a meeting place to encourage collaboration. So these two are still the last two, M Schools Lab and Mobile for All. So basically thinking of ways to make apps for all kinds of diversity, for inclusion, making sure that, you know, somebody who is visually impaired or challenged in some way, you know, auditively, or whatever way, trying to think of ways that all of these apps can include everybody in the classroom. So that's a project that's still in process. And basically, the whole idea, what I'm trying to tell you, is the EBSCO's project has many facets going on. You can see here, just an overview. Okay, it only goes up to 2014, but we've done a lot from 2013 to 2014. It's just been growing and growing and growing, and there's been more initiatives. And it's not finished. You know, we have more bubbles coming out and more initiatives as people get ideas. And teachers are more and more on board. I think it's not just students that have to be on board, but teachers are on board for introducing all of these new technologies. And it makes it more engaging as well, not just for students, but teachers are realizing, hey, this is fun. So teachers are using it as well. If you would like more information, you have the M Schools Mobile World Capital link here. And yeah, I don't know if there are any questions, but that's all for today. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Susan. Thank you, because it was a conference full of information and about your projects, about your activities. And for sure we will click in that link that you offer at the end of the conference. Very interesting link, institution, place to go to get help for us. For sure we will call again. We will call to have your help for us, for our project. Thank you very much to be here in Palamo. And now I'm going to present Mr. Andrés Sajo.
We like our data to continue studying in a community school. Those experiences are not provided by other schools. Okay, community schools, so schools that are involved in European projects, are not necessarily, of course, the best schools, but they have something different because they are very active and there are many teachers working in a very motivating way, we think. And also for local authorities, for example, for local authorities, they say things like, for our council, having a community school means making the city visible in Europe, because, okay, they keep in contact among local authorities in different countries. So thanks to the community program, we can say that there are many reasons for personal, professional, and institutional satisfaction. So we are very happy about what has happened with Comenius, and we are happy that with Comenius in these last few years. And okay, now we are Erasmus Plus, and this is the situation for us now. This is the logo, you know perfectly, and this below is the slogan, the motto of the Erasmus Plus program, changing lives, opening minds. And I always like to put this slogan because this is absolutely real. It was real in the lifelong learning program, and it's real also in the Erasmus Plus program. People who is involved in this kind of projects after the experience are always different. And okay, I think this is an important comment. As all of you know, Erasmus Plus was launched last year, the 1st of January of 2014, with the aim of increasing skills and employability, as well as supporting the educational system, training youth and sports. Erasmus Plus look for a closer link between programs and policies. The European policies in education are not very difficult to understand because there are only a few of them. First of them, you know perfectly, is Europe 2020 strategy. This is a common framework for many different European policies, and there are 2 points regarding, 2 aspects regarding education. One of them is the increased rate of graduates in higher education from 32% to 40%. The situation now in Europe, now in 2010, is 33%, and in Spain is 40.6%. So our aim is to get 44% in 2020. And the second aspect in this strategy is the reduction of the early school leaving rate from 11% to less than 10%. The situation in Spain, as you know, in general in the state in the country is really bad. We are over 20%, so our aim, our objective is to get 50% in 2020. Regarding the strategic framework for European cooperation in education and training 2020, ET 2020, there are some issues like delivering lifelong learning and mobility, improving the quality and effectiveness of education and training, promoting equity, social cohesion and active citizenship, and enhancing creativity and innovation in education. And it is also another framework policy in education, is the thinking education. This one is from a couple of years ago, European Commission 2012. Erasmus Plus also looks for efficiency and effectiveness. For example, the European Commission looks for European added value, and the project must show, or let's show, that it's better to spending €1 at European level than home. They could choose another way to spend the money, give the countries the money, and then the countries, the government to the schools, and the schools do whatever they want. But this is not the way. The way is a common framework to projects. Also looks for a stronger impact of individuals, organization, and system, and that means institutional approach. This point is very important. There are not any possibility in the Erasmus Plus program to apply as individuals. All of the projects are institutional. So are the institution the point of the projects. The quality and recognition of mobility, a strong support to staff mobility in all fields, sectoral cooperation between all education, training and youth fields, open education resources, and the strategy to share and exploit the results of the program. And it's going, the new platform, which is going to call Palamo, is going to be launched for the European Commission in the next weeks, as far as we know. And this is the situation. Maybe you have already seen this slide. So far, we have previous programs like the lifelong learning program with Comenius for the school sector, Grundig for adults, Erasmus for higher education, and other programs in the field of youth, like Youth in Action, and other programs in higher education, Erasmus Mundus, and Tempus, and Alpha, and Eduling. And this has been moved to one integrated program, Erasmus Plus, with only 3 key actions. Key Action 1, Key Action 2, and Key Action 3. Key Action 1 is they are activities for mobility, related mobility. Key Action 2, like this project, they are activities for cooperation. And Key Action 3 are activities for the policy reform at European level. Plus another initiative like Jamone and Action for Sports. It's important also to know that Erasmus Plus addresses current challenges. For example, a few months ago, has published Erasmus Impact Study. This was about the employment and career development of previous Erasmus students after Erasmus students for university level for higher education. And the conclusion was very interesting. For example, 5 years after graduation, the unemployment rate of Erasmus students was 23% lower than the students that didn't have previously previous Erasmus experience. So taking part in Erasmus in a European project keep you to develop some transversal skills maybe that for sure they are going to help you all around all of your life. Okay, we don't have time to explain properly in deep what kind of activities you can choose in the program. So we have selected only 4 slides just to show you the framework of this kind of activities. All this is for school education. There are other information for other sectors in education and training. And in school education, there are opportunities in Key Action 1 for the education staff mobility. And in this Key Action 1, living mobility activities, or under Key Action, under the umbrella of this Key Action 1, for school education, there are possibilities for mobility for teachers and trainers and education staff. The mobility of the students can be under Key Action 2. The 5 main ideas about this possibility in Key Action 1 for education staff mobility are as follows. The first one is institutional approach. The project responds to the needs and or expectations of the schools, not the needs or expectations of the teachers, only for the schools. So the school have to explain the European Development Plan. The second main idea are the kind of activities you can do under this Key Action 1. There are 3 activities, 3 possible activities. One of them is job shadowing, observation period in a public organization. For example, a teacher from Institute Palamo go to spend a couple of weeks to another secondary school in Europe to share and to work and to see how they are working. Or other teachers can come here to do something similar. The participation in courses, in the structured courses or training events, and the third kind of activities is teaching or training assessment at a partner institution. The third main idea is the duration of the project, 1 or 2 years. The mobility can be from 2 days to 2 months, and there is grant support for all the main aspects you could have, like travel, organizational support for the school, individual support, courses fees or special needs in case of disabilities or exceptional costs. Under the action 2, the main activity for schools in school education are strategic partnerships. There are others, but this is the main, like the one we are working, or you are working in this week. The 5 main ideas for this kind of activities are as follows. The first one, the approach, innovation, cooperation, peer learning, and the chain of experience at the local level. All the projects since this call must address priorities, at least one horizontal priority or one school-specific priority. The project can be between 2 years and 3 years. The number of partners always at least 3 organizations for 3 different program countries, with an exception for the school sector. There could be also bilateral projects involving only school, or bilateral projects involving regional or local authorities. There are specific funding for management and implementation of the project, for transnational project meetings like this one, for intellectual outputs and multiplied events, for training, short-term training or long-term training. We can see here short-term training, and also exceptional costs and special needs. And I would like to share with you, especially with Josep and my colleagues here in the project, that in this slide you can see the new priorities that wasn't in the last call in 2014, but they are new in this call. I would like to ask you if you think that your project is a real strategic project under the vision of the Erasmus Plus program, because you should address at least one of these horizontal priorities. Okay, and the priorities as follows. The horizontal priorities are this one. First one is developing basic and transversal skills, digital, language, and other transversal competencies. Do you think you are in this framework? Yes, absolutely you are. Second one is new approaches to teacher training. Maybe you have a partner here working in the teacher center, so I think you are. Enhancing digital integration in learning, teaching and training. This is the main proposal of the project. Contributing to the development of a European area of skills and qualification. Maybe it's not one in this project. Innovation for equity, diversity and inclusion for pupils with fewer opportunities. Okay. New technologies have helped. And assess and increase the specific of public expenditure and investment in education. Maybe this one is not so close to you. So, okay, this is a real, as far as I see, a real strategic project. And there are also some school priorities in the sector of school priorities. And this one is improvement of teaching competence.
We are working about all kind of teaching activities, producing new ones, looking for on the website, checking them, giving to the best of the quality to upload to our website. We are going that in this way.
Okay. Improving performance in basic skills through more effective teaching methods.
We are working on that. If we are talking about new technologies and new ways to work, to teach, I think we are in this line, too much line following.
The reduction of people school living, or working with a very big spectrum of this different kind of students from the lowest to the highest academic. It is on
The background at the end of the project is that one of the goals we have.
and the last one is about early childhood and education. Maybe this is not your head, but we have a primary school, and I'm not sure. So I think you are really involved in a very strategic project. So this is why I would like to share with you this kind of reflections. And okay, just a few more slides for some comments. This is okay. This is let me this one. Okay, this is the number of applications we have received this last day from the European Commission, and we have shared here only the countries that you are here represented. And you can see, okay, key action 201, they are strategic partnership for the education sector. Key action 204 are for other sector, and key action 219, the last one on the right, they are projects where are involved only schools. So in the first one, key action 201, we have 24 applicants in Cyprus, 213 in Italy, 41 in Portugal, 65 in Romania, 140 in Spain. And the last one, only project strategic partnership where are involved only schools. We have 13 in Cyprus, 281 in Italy, 76 in Portugal, 100 in Romania, 300 in Spain. Just figures about some very recent figures. And some news, some of them very, very recent, are as follows. Just a few slides to explain a couple of things. One of them is about the School Education Gateway, the new platform. Another one is the dissemination platform. It's going to be called as Valor. Valor is already launched, but they are not with many information. We will inform you in when we have new information about that from the Commission. EPADE, this is for adult education, maybe not for you. And the mobility tool is the platform you are going to use in the future when the platform will be implemented for the strategic partnership. They are only now implemented for Key Action 1 activities. But let me explain you a little about this very interesting platform. The platform is called School Education Gateway. It has been launched for the Commission a couple of months ago. And I think it's very interesting for all the schools all around Europe because through this platform you can find very different information, but you can also find very useful information. For example, there will be a course catalog if you are interested in taking part in a course of this kind, apply for the Action 1 project. You can check in this catalog. You can also find here mobility opportunities. For example, in order to find schools in Europe that to keep or to invite the teachers to come, for example, for a couple of weeks and see how you are working in the schools. And also you can also find strategic partnership opportunities to find partners for future projects. So check this platform because we are sure that it's going to be very, very useful for all of you. And just for finish, there is a question about why Erasmus Plus means a new approach. One of the answers is the world is changing fast, and this means many new challenges for all of us. I would like to show you a little video, only 3 minutes. Well, 3 minutes not only, but
tell you that many people from here are using Twitter, I mean, going to make so low the net.
Okay, the video is about behind, but I think that there is another similar one about the old war. But I think it's real that the war is changing really, really fast, and we have worked in education in a very interesting moment where things are really changing very fast. So that's all from my side. Thank you very much for your attention. Muchas gracias. Thank you.